Hey guys, this is Buford with Scholarships for Soccer, and today I have two very special guests. The first one is Aaron Guillen, and we also have Amanda Moore. And just to give you a little bit of background, Aaron is currently a player with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Um, he played soccer at Florida Coast, and Amanda played basketball at Florida Gulf Coast. And they own a service called Win Your Mindset, where they deal with youth athletes and their mindset, which is very important. So I'm happy to have them and welcome you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're certainly welcome. Now, when you work with the youth, first of all, why is mindset so important? I guess we'll start there.
I mean, you just hear it all the time. It's people just preach about how important it is to feel well physically, and you have to hydrate, you have to stretch, you have to go to the gym, and a lot of people don't focus on the mindset part. But I think it's something. Actually, we both think it's something very important because as a young player, you just want to go out there and perform as best as you can, and you want to do what you love, and you're out there because you love it. You don't know anything else. You don't know if you want to be a pro when you're 8 years old. I'm speaking for myself. I had a really tough youth career, just not being the best player on my team, not having the minutes, the exposure. I was always under the radar. But what kept me going was just me loving the game and pushing myself. And I feel like if I would have had something to fall back into, my parents teaching me, or something like what we have, someone teaching me how to be mentally strong, I could have dealt better with my youth career and just enjoyed it a little bit more. I'm not saying I did not enjoy my youth career, which I'm blessed and I'm really happy with what I had and what I have now. But I think something like what we have going on would have helped me and would have helped other teammates that went through the same thing. And even if you don't go through a rough patch, it's just something that helps you just even perform better. Just you have confidence, you feel good, you play good, and it just elevates your game.
Okay. Now, no matter what the sport, whether we're talking about soccer or basketball, as an athlete, you're going to go through a rough stretch. In basketball, you can't hit a shot.
Mhm.
In soccer, you miss easy goals, or
Mhm.
you're just going to have rough patches.
Right.
What is one thing that you guys can tell our group as to what a player can do to try to get themselves out of that rough patch?
I would say, just not being so hard on yourself. We work with a lot of athletes who are perfectionists. And, at the end of the day, perfectionism is just a cover for fear. And I think if you're able to take some pressure off of yourself because your coaches are giving you pressure, your parents are probably giving you pressure. So you don't need to put all of that added stuff onto yourself. Um, and it's great to be competitive. It's great to want to win, but at the end of the day, take some of that off, enjoy the game, enjoy the process, and hopefully things will be a little bit easier for you.
All right. Well, on the flip side of that, every now and again, and this is where every athlete wants to be, you get in the zone. You can't miss a shot. Every time you get a breakaway, it's a goal, or you make the perfect pass. I mean, things just happen. Um, what can a player do when they're in that zone to extend that zone? Is there anything they can do from a mental standpoint?
I mean, I would say ride off of that confidence. So when you're in the zone, you're really lucky to be there. That's a great place to be. So I would like we work a lot with visualization. So we might have a player or an athlete think about when they are in the zone. Like, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's your mindset? And then remember all of those things so that when you're not in your zone and you're in a slump and you're going through a rough patch, if you can visualize the way that you felt when you were in that zone, you might be able to snap back into it a little easier.
Okay. What is something concrete that, I know sometimes when kids come to you, they're at a low. What is something that you can do to maybe, how do you start the process with them to
Yeah. I
I
think holding them accountable is the most important thing, because we do have players that I guess doubt themselves all the time, and we have worksheets to help them be accountable and set little goals that push you every day to the main goal that you want to, the big picture. And I think that's very important for someone to notice day by day that you are making little steps. One of the things that I really love is compete against yourself, because if you're competing against someone else, you're putting extra pressure. But I like to compete, speaking for myself, against myself, so I could get better each day and be the better Aaron Guillen than I was yesterday.
Something that, just to piggyback off of that we actually teach is to think of yourself as if you're on a treadmill. When you walk into a gym, you see all these treadmills lined up, and it's really easy to look right to left. Somebody's stronger than me, somebody's faster than me, whatever it is. And then that's just going to deter you from your goals. At that point, you're not competing against yourself, you're competing with the people next to you. And instead of doing that, we encourage our athletes to look in the mirror, think of it as you're running on that row of treadmills. Every other treadmill is taken. You're on your treadmill and you're hyping yourself up. You're visualizing what you want for yourself. So just what Aaron was saying, compete against yourself. And I think that takes some of the pressure off.
Okay. Let me ask you, have any athletes ever come to you and, they got to deal with their parents? I know when my son was younger, after the game, if he had a bad game, I'd be in the car on the way home, saying, well, maybe you could have done this, when he really didn't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, that's something that we posted on today in your group. If an athlete has a bad game, it's okay to know what you did wrong, because you want to learn from that. But it's very important to also help your athlete know what they're good at, because if you're constantly reminding them of just the bad things, at some point the athlete is just going to think, well, I'm not good enough. Everything that I do is bad. But if you help them and affirm him that what him or her are doing well, oh, you great pass today, oh, I saw the run you made, or great 3-point shot, whatever sport they're playing, if you help them, give them positive feedback as well, that just helps the athlete and gives the athlete confidence to keep performing. If you keep knocking them down, the athlete's never going to be able to get up, and it's just going to be.
And one thing that I just want to add to that is that in our sessions, a lot of times we encourage parents to be in on the session, because while we're giving the athlete these tools and strategies to better support themselves, we're actually giving the parents these tools and strategies as well. So that kind of what you're talking about, when you're frustrated with your athlete, that's valid. You're allowed to feel that way, but maybe just approaching it a little bit differently.
Well, I've learned to just shut up when.
Well, there you go. That'll work too.
When I get to that stage. But let me ask you, Aaron, you're playing professional soccer now, and you played in the MLS. How did your mindset help you to deal with playing in a lower division? I know a lot of people, if they reach a level and then they step down a level, they have problems. How does your mind? How do you keep your personal attitude up by playing at the lower level, and just by playing at lower
Right.
after being in MLS?
Yeah, like I said earlier, my youth career wasn't easy, so I think that was a build-up, and that helped me at the beginning of my stages. And my dream has always been to to be at the best level possible for right now. I was lucky enough to be in the MLS, and I was only there for 2 years. And obviously now I play for the USL Championship. Like you said, it's a lower division. And I think my mindset is just keep pushing, because my goal is to get back into the best possible league that I can. And I think just going out there every day at practice, like I said, we have our athletes set little goals. I do the same thing for myself. I set little goals, and I'm competing against myself and just trying to get better at my weaknesses, and as well as getting better at what I'm good at. And that's pretty much my mindset every day, just try and get better each day. And that's going to help me reach my main goal, which is to get to a higher division.
Okay, so finally, I've got a question for each of you. And it's the same question. What is one thing that we as parents can do to raise a mentally tough athlete?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would encourage every single athlete, no matter where they are, to just own it. Because a lot of times, like right now, I'm seeing that a lot of athletes want to be in the top tier. They want to be in that elite tier. So let's say there's a first team, second team, third team. And let's say they make the second or third team. They get really, really discouraged, and they either quit or they don't have the right mindset to get back to that top level because they're so discouraged. So I would encourage every athlete, no matter where you're at, just own where you are and keep working toward your goals. And at the end of the day, like we've been saying, these small steps every day they seem small and trivial in the moment, but you're going to get to where you need to get if you're just taking these small steps every day. So just own it.
I could add a little bit to that. It's just everyone works well when at the end of the day there's a reward, you know? Like in a job, if you have a bonus, you're going to work towards that bonus. Just as the kids are growing, like in their youth career and stuff, it's just they're loving what they want to do is play the sport, and they want to get better. You could push them, and at the end of the day, even if it's like you take them to the movies every weekend, I don't know, just an example. It's just like, all right, you had a great week. I'm going to take you to the movies because you had a great week. It's just a reward at the end of the tunnel that, oh, if I do this, I do well in school, I do well in sports or whatever it is. You're just rewarding the athlete or just the kid in general, and that's something, an extra motivation that you have for them.
All right. Well, where can parents in the group get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different avenues. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/winyourmindset. We are also at www.winyourmindset.com. If any parent wants to email us about some one-on-one coaching, our email is winyourmindset@gmail.com. And Instagram is winyourmindset with the number 1 at the end.
All right. Well, I believe that we have that in the guide section in the group. And go check Aaron and Amanda out, especially, if your kid's having a little trouble with mindset. As you can see, they'll be a great resource for them. And Aaron and Amanda, I know you guys are busy, so we're not going to hold you, but I really appreciate you coming and spending some time with us to educate us about mindset. And hopefully we'll get to talk with you really soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you're welcome.